I didn't watch the intro though, like you said.
But Nick Close.
Wait. I did not.
Oh, I know. Cut that
Last
real
week's
close.
episode that said not to watch the.
Yes.
Oh, it was this week.
Yeah. We haven't got the new one yet.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll be watching it tomorrow at 8 a.m. and saying,
I'll be watching
mind blown.
You'll be watching it at midnight. Oh.
6 a.m.
Oh, is it 6 a.m. when you watch it? You just don't message us until.
Yo, since we recapping this whole Disney investment call, this is like a 3-hour podcast, so be prepared. Oh man, I forgot to share.
Sharing is caring.
I think I have to refresh.
Hey. What is up, guys?
Hey.
Hello.
Okay, so I wanted to play this real quick because I just felt like it makes sense tonight.
Hold on. There we go.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it is Disney night is what this is pretty much.
Yes.
Disney is dropping stuff everywhere.
Yes, they
also,
are.
I always love this intro.
That was beautiful. So beautiful.
I figured everybody liked that. Hey, what's going on, guys? Everybody watching?
Hello.
So, lots going on, especially today. I mean, this has been like a full week of all kinds of stuff. Not just Disney, but Disney's dropping hot stuff today. But okay, we'll get to that. First, let's do some introductions, though.
What's good? This is Ace. All things nerdy.
yes. And I put gamer girl because, I don't know. Gaming is fun.
She doesn't know, but her name is Gamer Girl. Okay.
And I'm Mr. Fantastic, the Wish app edition. The one that always looks weird and it's like 2 cents.
Nice.
Anyways, so everybody out there, hang out. Throw some comments in there if you've watched any of the Disney investor stuff or the Mando from last week episode. Definitely drop some questions in there, hang out, and then enjoy the show. So, first thing, before we start anything, let's go with our sponsor, which is Sonic.
Yes.
And I just bought a $10 gift card for one of my kids' teachers.
Well, my family just ate Sonic tonight, and then I had Sonic twice this week. So yeah, Sonic is definitely getting my money.
Yes, they are.
I'm preparing myself for my hot wing challenge, so I had to use Sonic.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Cheesy jalapeno tater tots, and so I was eating them jalapenos trying to get ready for that challenge.
I like those. That's my favorite thing to get. I know that Shane's going to be upset because if you have the app, today was the day you could have got 50-cent corn dogs. And that's his favorite thing.
Yep.
So that's a good reason to have the app because there's all kinds of deals and stuff on there. And always, I mean, happy hour is every day. It's not just the 2 to 4. Yeah. So thank you, Sonic.
Thank you, Sonic.
Hanging with us.
I'm enjoying my Coke Zero.
The Marauders.
The Marauders Nerd Podcast. I need to change that. It needs to be different.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah,
we're the Nerd Podcast now. Anyways, okay.
New shirt.
So
yeah. Oh, I'm not wearing my Marauders shirt. I just realized that. That's okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. The Star Wars. We'll do Marauders next week. But I definitely want one that says, "Hold on one second." The talk nerdy to me. I'm just saying.
We need one.
Yep.
Show me your shirt real quick.
This one?
I see that.
Not today. There. Yeah, that's how I feel like every day.
Not today. And I see some bars. Is that like what you would scan? Do you scan that at Walmart or something? No, Target or
not quite. I just want to.
I see some green.
Yeah, that's so cute.
It says Grogu.
It has his name.
Baby Yoda. the child and the donor has his age and his height. Yeah.
Height. What does it say? 14 inches?
No, 1 inch and 1 foot 4 inches.
1 foot 4 inches.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of how tiny
I wanted to get that
is,
shirt before everybody else tried to jump on the bandwagon. I got the first Grogu shirt.
Yeah, that's true. But speaking of how tiny he is in this week's episode, like, he's kind of he's a bad little baby.
Hey,
he knocked you around. Like,
yeah, let's get to that. So this last episode was pretty. It was short.
yes.
But honestly, it didn't upset me that it was short because there was so much like going on through the whole thing. So I mean, it was still good. It was a good episode. I didn't feel like we didn't like drag or anything. But who wants to go first? Gamer girl?
Yeah, let Bon go first.
Tell us about the episode. What do you think about it? What was your favorite part?
It was amazing. Like, well, talking about how short it was, like, I remember reading that it was like only a 34-minute episode or something like that. But
I think
watching
it was 32.
It did not feel like that at all.
No.
So it was like one thing after another happening. You know, of course, with old Boba Fett coming back, that was really cool. Seeing him, I guess, fight with Mando, like alongside him, and then the girl. I can't remember the girl's name.
And like that.
No, she was in the first season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like the 6th episode, somewhere in there.
She was in. Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 from the end.
Okay.
It was the one episode Dave Filoni directed that I didn't like. Sharpshooter or gunslinger or something like that.
But she must have gotten injured in that episode. I need to go back, I guess, and watch.
People thought she died, and then we heard the Spurs come in, and so people thought it was Boba Fett then.
Yeah. Okay.
That was Joey's big hanging point about. That's the only thing he would fight anybody about. That's Boba Fett. I know it is. I heard it first.
I had no idea.
How amazing was it though to see him with the suit on?
Let's keep it real. He looked like a dad trying to put on that old football uniform. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I ain't mad, bro.
It's just those flowing robes. So and he's big bone. You just leave him alone, dude.
Yeah. It was cool. He put that armor on. He was feeling it. And then he put little missiles out of the knee thing. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, I kind of like, not kind of, I like that part of this episode is we got to really see what Boba Fett could do, you know? Because I don't know, I just kind of feel like his story was cool in the beginning movies, but we didn't see much of it. So getting to really
a bunch of backstory this time, like
and
we didn't have to do like a whole episode to dive into his backstory. We got it in a fluent conversation. The biggest speculation that he wasn't Mandalorian has always been a trope, and so it was one of those things to find out that his dad was a foundling, just like Mando was. That was pretty cool to kind of, bring him into the fold or whatever. But he still kept it real and even quoted his dad like, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the galaxy."
Yes.
Like my father before me. I thought that was pretty dope. Yeah. And he was like, "I have no allegiance to anyone, that I'm just kind of like do my own thing, but this armor still does belong to me." So, but the thing that was interesting to me about this particular episode was the fact that I'm sure most people thought that he was going to make it to the top of that rock at the end of the episode, and we got there immediately.
Yes. Yes. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I don't know. It's just more of seeing, I guess, his power, maybe. It was just really cool.
I think for me, the biggest thing was watching him call to the Force on top of that rock. Even him doing the whole, finger thing and like that. I mean, it was just such an amazing, amazing shot.
Yeah.
It made me think of Yoda when I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the most he looked like Yoda.
He didn't feel like somebody that didn't know how to use the Force though. With that, it seemed like he was like into it.
Well, I think Ahsoka really confirmed that when she was like, "No, he's been hiding using the Force because he was scared that he would get caught." So the fact that he was, on that mountain and seeing all of that happen was just amazing. But with the episode being called Tragedy, outside of the fact that Carlos Espanzita has been, talking prior to the series starting about the possibility of Mando working for him or something to that nature, so one could assume that eventually the Empire would get a hold of Grogu. So I thought it was a throw off when the Razor Crest blew up. That was a throw off.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite thing was when Joey sent that picture of the new Lego set for that, and it's just a big pile of Legos.
Yeah.
Hey, at least the little ball made it.
Yeah.
The toy makers were actually pretty upset about it, from what I had seen, because they were trying to sell the Legos for that.
Well, here's the thing, though. To be honest, I think they're gonna have to rebuild it, because from what I saw, it was in episode 9. So they're gonna have to either rebuild it, or I've heard even speculation that Boba might die, so he'll have Slave 1. Like, it's a whole bunch of speculations going on about it. But the episode itself, man, just the action, the simplicity of it, because of the location that they were at, seemed like they were in an open field, and they were just using the elements. So I thought that was cool. I've never seen the stormtrooper armor being destroyed like that. That was crazy to me.
Like when he was whacking him in the head and stuff, and like you see pieces break off. That was pretty awesome. We've never seen that style before.
The action sequence, yes, very good with that little.
It's always laser shots or lightsabers.
And is it me? But when Fennec was running across the top and they were shooting at the rocks, and like when she was like jumping off the rocks with the blaster and stuff like that, did that not give you a Power Ranger feel?
Yeah,
I could see that.
I was like, wait a minute, I'm waiting for the White Ranger to come out here with this little like the whole thing. It just reminded me of Power Ranger.
Yeah,
I think the one thing I would say about the last few episodes is they feel like you're watching the Clone Wars or Rebels animated series. Like there's a lot more of the that style. I don't know what you would really call that, but there's a lot more like running and some of the weird jumps that like normal people couldn't do or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it kind of has that feel to me, but
yeah, absolutely.
I think we haven't seen the stormtroopers like that together with the commander doing all like shouting orders and stuff either.
Yeah, he even called him an idiot. That was pretty funny. Get over there, idiot.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing on that though, we see Grogu actually, he's like force grabbing like Vader would.
Yes.
And tossing dudes around.
Yes, that was amazing.
Yeah, Charlie was excited about that. She was mad that they captured, but when he was choking out them stormtroopers, she was cheering.
That's right. Like that was pretty cool. That's like, all right, this guy's he's a little bit more powerful, I think, than what we were led to believe.
But is he acting out of anger though?
Yes, he definitely is. He's scared.
So,
he's terrified, and I like the fact that we get to see, it reminds you of a lot of times you'll hear people say that if a snake bites you, you would want the adult to bite you versus the child, because if the baby snake would put out so much venom because it doesn't know how to control itself. So the fact that you saw Grogu using all of his energy and expending it so much to where he became tired, and so that was an interesting spin, because he hasn't been trained as much. Like he was, a toddler at that point. I mean, he's a toddler now, so he was, infant when he was being trained, or even trying to get him to that point of some sort of training. So whatever power he has, he just uses it until he falls asleep. And they played that well, because it happened even in season 1 when he saved him from the Mudhorn. after he saved him, he just passed out and went to sleep. And so he's getting a little bit stronger because at least he didn't fall asleep this time. Well, he did. No, he did at the end. So yeah. They are consistent with that. I thought that was a pretty nice detail.
Now the not little, but what are they called? Dark Trooper, the droid dudes that took him.
The Dark Trooper.
Yep. That was cool. Those guys were cool. I was like, is this a Terminator moment? Is that what we're getting right now?
It kind of felt like it, yeah.
A little scared.
Except for they can fly.
Yes.
They fly now?
Yes. It was crazy.
You missed the joke.
I did. I missed it. What'd you say?
I said they fly now.
Have they not always flown? Oh. Did that go over my head?
Episode 9 fail.
Oh, yeah. See, I still have only ever watched that once.
It was in the trailer, though.
I know. I need to rewatch the last 3 more. I'm sorry.
Fail.
I'm horrible. I kind of just stick with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I try to move on. Can't get past it.
Missing out on a great movie in 8. Just saying.
You and episode 8. Just love it. Yeah. Where's Shane?
Yeah, we need Shane to get angry and yell and stuff.
Somewhere there's a vein in his brain that just exploded.
Yes.
And he doesn't know why.
Nope.
He's at a basketball game. He just tossed his Coke over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Or he did his classic one cuss word right there in front of all the kids and the parents, and the whole room went silent.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a great episode. What do you think? Where are we going to go, do you think, on this next one? If you were to guess.
I think Boba Fett's going to help him.
I think they're about to form a super team. It's going to be all the Mandalorians that we've seen thus far join together. But I think that happens in the last episode. I think this is just the trip to get there. So maybe during flight to get to where because they got to go get Mayfield, which is Bill Burr's character. So they're going to go get him out. The bald head dude, the Mayfield, he was the one that the bigger guy put in charge when they went and did the heist mission to go get the other Twi'lek out of jail. Bill Burr's comedian.
Yep.
I think this was kind of like one of those moments that you saw in Thor where he was like, we're putting together a team called the Revengers. That's what we're about to see in Mandalorian. They're going to build a team. It's going to be awesome.
We got multiverses. We've got team ups. We got multiverses.
Now, as great as the episode was, there was one flaw that I saw that it drove me crazy. It was definitely nails on a chalkboard for me. Like it bugged me so much.
What was it?
So at the end, when he went and saw Cara Dune, they were talking and he was like, yeah, I got to go find this dude, blah, 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 blah. And, oh, you're the marshal of the Galactic Empire, whatever. Whoopty, whoopty, whoop. And so she's like, yeah, I can help you. But, now that I got this badge, I got to, kind of do it. I have a line now, basically. And then he's like, well, they got the child. And I'm thinking like, so wait a minute now. You've been claiming this whole time that the child goes with you no matter what. Wherever he goes, you go. But Cara Dune sees him and she doesn't ask him about the baby the first time she saw him. That bugged me. Like even when they went to Navarro earlier in the earlier episode, he threw a fit when they tried to put Grogu in school. So the fact that he comes up and doesn't have the child and Cara Dune doesn't ask where's the child, that to me was like a terrible writing for me. And it bugged me so bad because I was just like, you just don't. And it was like they had to have it like there was like, well, you got to help me because they have the child. And it was like, you didn't ask about that the first time you saw it. That just bugged me so much.
Oh my gosh, you are nitpicking at this point.
No, I was about to say he could be with a family of frog people eating their eggs right now.
Something.
And you don't know.
Or sleeping on the.
I'm just saying, as much as
he left him on the motorbike and he's out there just asleep.
they
bad parent.
They paid so much attention to detail that just bugged me. That was an outlier for me.
I didn't even notice. But I think that's because I was like, I don't know. I was just kind of distraught with Baby Yoda being taken. Like, I'm like, or not
Grogu.
Grogu.
He's got a name.
I know.
But
it's going to take a while.
Listen, y'all.
It was just
for all the people watching. You guys are allowed to call him Baby Yoda. This is the thing. For one, Disney set it up for us to call him Baby Yoda. For one,
they did.
Number two, if they wanted us to call him his name, they would have gave it to us a long time ago. Number three, we don't call Din Djarin. We call him Mando. That's his nickname. So Baby Yoda can be.
Oh yeah, he is Mando. I didn't even know. I mean, I did know that was his name, but
real quick, I do have a surprise for you.
Oh gosh.
He is a Rose Tico lover and a number 8.
Oh, what just happened?
Nope. No Rose Tico here, guys.
I thought I'd piss him off right before he came on.
I've been on for 30 seconds and I'm already irritated.
Oh, I bet you are.
Did you get a little twinge right here in your forehead a minute ago?
Was your eye twisted?
What did I miss?
Oh.
Did you have a mini stroke?
What did I miss?
We were talking about how great episode 8 was.
Oh, really? I thought we were past this. Like, I thought now that we were open to all topics, we would finally get past the episode 8.
I didn't bring. Nobody else brought it up except for one person.
Hey, you got to blame it on the Disney investors call. Now that they announced that Rian Johnson is doing his trilogy, we got to talk about it.
Look, did we get any info on Rian Johnson's trilogy, or did they just say he's doing one?
No, we didn't talk about it.
Okay. All right.
I do want to bring.
They're still looking for
the
script on Wish, is what it is.
Because Shane got me thinking the last time we talked last Thursday about the possibility of Grogu being the chosen one, right? You had mentioned that somewhere.
I mentioned it a couple times. I still feel strongly that they could go that route.
So listen to this. You mentioned that. I got in my little Jedi book. There's a chapter on the chosen one, but it's completely redacted.
I think that's because they're not allowed to comment.
I was like,
the chosen one would mean like future.
But Luke has a little note on the top of it that says that he thinks that the Empire, because it's blacked out, right? So
right.
And so he put that he thinks the Emperor Palpatine did it because it was like that when he got it. But I was like, why would they do this?
So how did he end up with the Jedi book before?
He's Palpatine, man. He found all the artifacts. That's what he did.
And it actually, on the first page or the second page, it goes through and I've mentioned this to Ace before. It talks about the holocrons. And I guess that's kind of how the history is built. And so they took that and made it into the book. And then it shows all the people that have ever had the book. And Palpatine's one of them.
Now, it's pretty cool. The lore behind the holocrons and stuff are awesome, especially when you get into the Sith Lords and things like that. Because every Sith Lord passed on their knowledge in a holocron. And so it'd be booby trapped and stuff like that. So as the next Sith Lord comes in, I'm going crazy here. As the next Sith Lord would come in, he would have to find a different Sith Lord's holocron to learn his secrets. And the Sith Lords weren't like, hey, let me train up the next generation. Like they would hide their secrets in the holocron, and you would have to unlock them. And the way that they built the holocrons and stuff, really neat. If you're ever interested in just fully nerding out, Google holocrons and do some deep dives. It's fun.
If you watch Rebels, though, Rebels also dives into it pretty good as well. And the one thing I'm sorry for you haven't seen Rebels, I have to say this, but the cool thing about Ezra is he was able to open the Jedi holocrons and the Sith holocrons,
which is cool.
Yeah, which played into a very nice plot point. But the other thing is Palpatine always manipulated things. He would use the World of Worlds to basically get information as well. So yeah, Palpatine was that dude, bro.
It's just, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me now because of what I've talked about before with what I've read in these books, especially the Sith book being the midichlorians, and how the theory was that these people that have the real high, not people, but Anakin, for example, it talked about how when you have midichlorian counts that high, it's usually been manipulated. So then there's the theory, well, was he created versus, just being born? So now with Grogu's, having a high midichlorian count, my thoughts were, well, maybe he was manipulated as, like, his stuff was, he was created, basically. Not like clone, but because the way that it, go ahead.
They mention specifically in episode 1 when we see the scene where they're testing Anakin's midichlorians, and he says he has a higher count than even Yoda. That leads me to believe that Yoda's species naturally has a high midichlorian count. So even if Grogu has a high midichlorian count, it doesn't necessarily mean that he was created. It could just mean that species carries a higher threshold for midichlorians than any others. That doesn't mean he's not the chosen one. Like, I feel strongly regardless of how we feel about 7, 8, and 9, the reaction is mixed in the Star Wars universe. So this to me is an easy out for Disney and Star Wars. Like, you can just put the mantle of the chosen one on Grogu, and you could basically, we're going a whole different direction. You could basically just shift that whole thing into this, and then go off wherever you want to go with the chosen one.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bonnie.
No, the only thing I was going to argue with that is I think it's because Anakin's midichlorian count was like in the 10,000s or 20,000s, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what they're saying is that high of a midichlorian count. It's not somebody that's like naturally born like anybody else. That's where the theory was that it was manipulated. So my thoughts are, if Grogu's midichlorian count, because if he's higher than Anakin's was higher than Yoda's, and then Grogu, I know we don't have like a number, but right. I guess that's where I need to see a number.
The other thing too, though, the whole thing about the chosen one, it could be just like how they did in the Matrix, which I know a lot of people didn't like that either, but I mean, it is what it is. In the Matrix, when Morpheus just believed so much in the one, and then when Neo finally made it to the architect explained, like, you're one of many that are the one. Like there's been times as to where you're representing the one right now, but there was another one before that. But it's like through generations. So it's basically explained that it's almost like a religion, a religious aspect of believing, just like how we believe in God and Jesus, or whatever the case may be. It's one of those things when they talk about the prophecy of the one who balances the chosen one.
Like it's up for interpretation type deal? Yes.
Pick the right toy and you get to be the one.
There's a lot of different avenues they could do with the chosen one if they even want to touch it. I don't know that they want to touch. I don't know that they want to go down that road.
No, I think Shane and Joey are the only ones that are really care about it.
Well, I don't think I'm the only one. And me and Joey, I'm sure there's a few more.
And I was just like, I was curious at that point. Like, after you mentioned that, I was digging through the book, like I said, and just happened to see that there was an actual chapter called The Chosen One. I was like, and then it's all crossed out. Like,
you know how I feel about it. Like, they could easily go with The Chosen One being a Kylo and Rey baby too. I mean, I still feel strongly on that point. It's incredibly easy to do, and you can time jump off Kylo and Rey having a Force baby. I don't know.
Isn't he dead?
Yeah, but we don't. You could easily just say that their little interactions in the Force created a Force child. Like, come on, this is Star Wars. Let's not overthink it. All right, I still say that's how you do it. Kylo and Rey had a Force baby. That baby's the combination of Palpatine's DNA and the Skywalker DNA. Boom, chosen one.
So when it gets Force, that's what happens. Is that what you're saying?
Balance the Force. I'm saying you want to balance the Force. You have the Skywalker and the Palpatine line merge, and the result is the chosen one. Guys, hire me.
I think we need to move on.
Give me a call. Yeah. Give me a call. I'm your guy. Give me a call. I got stories.
So we had the Disney investor call happen today around. I think it started around 3:30, right?
4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it went a while. Yeah, it went all the way up until I think it was still going, wasn't it, when we started?
Yeah, it was still going. Yeah. Bob was up.
But there was a ton of stuff. And I know, Ace, you were watching it, so why don't you start us out and let's talk about some of that.
All right, so exclusively for so the first thing that they kind of started with that was intriguing was the fact that they said within the next, I don't remember the time frame. I don't know if they said within the next 10 years or whatever the case may be. But we're going to get 10 MCU series, 10 Star Wars series, 15 Pixar series, all on Disney Plus. And some of the other notable stuff, they were talking about a service called Star, which would kind of be integrated into Disney Plus. They haven't quite exclusively said exactly who would get that, because there are some countries that still don't have Disney Plus, so they're going to actually have a service that's called Star Plus. But basically what this service would be, this is going to be the place for the adult content, for the R-rated stuff, and some of the things past PG-13, and they're working on like parental control and this, that, and the other, so that they know that in order to keep up with Netflix, they're going to have to bring that in there. They are still planning to use Hulu, but some of the notable Star Wars series that they're going to be coming out with is Rangers of the New Republic, which they didn't really expand on. They kind of hinted at there would be like the Mandalorians defending the Republic, but they didn't really get into that. The Ahsoka series, there's a series called The Acolyte. You have the Lando series. You have Star Wars Visions. Of course, we talked about Bad Batch before. They have a droid story, the Taika Waititi movie, and then some of the bigger news was Patty Jenkins is actually directing Rogue Squadrons, which will be released Christmas of 2023. So that's going to be the first movie that comes back for Star Wars, and she is pretty excited. She even has like a nice little teaser trailer that she put out. So pretty exciting. They also did confirm Fantastic Four. They also did say that they were not going to recast T'Challa, but they didn't say exactly what they were planning to do. They just said Ryan Coogler is working on the script, and so that they would look at all the characters within the series and see which direction that they go in. They talked about a slew of new Disney Plus series, a slew of Pixar series. They talked about some live action stuff, Little Mermaid, Pinocchio, that type stuff. They talked about a Buzz Lightyear movie that's coming.
An origin story for Buzz.
Yeah, and Chris,
I'm gonna show some of this.
Captain America is playing the voice.
Oh, Chris Evans, that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, and yes, and my boy Anakin will be back.
What's that? Oh, he went so far.
Anakin will be back in. He's going to be in the Obi-Wan series. So
that makes me so
yeah,
happy.
I did hear that. I saw that one. What was that American Horror Story thing? Because there's rumors that Evans Peters is Ryan
It's a
Murphy.
new anthology spinoff.
FX
Is
on
what it
Hulu?
is.
No, I thought it was going to be.
We're not sponsored by these people. I'm just
WandaVision.
running through here. Just let everybody kind of see this stuff while we're talking. There's a lot of Daredevil people wanting to bring that back. Which
But they want to
he
keep
is.
it TVMA. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that on Disney.
I'm excited for them to do the Star Plus or whatever.
Is this the Rebels?
sequel announcement.
Yep.
Hopefully we get. So.
Oh, that's not a true.
That's not it.
What?
That's just people wishing.
These are just people. Yeah.
yeah, you
That's
would.
not what I was looking. Here we go.
Anyway,
Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah,
I'm
There's the
intrigued with
Ahsoka.
that one.
Oh, they've confirmed John Watts is going to be the director for Fantastic Four. I
yeah.
don't know if that means anything.
So I think we'll see Ezra in the Ahsoka series, right? At some point.
We don't know. I think it would make sense. I think it would make sense for him and Sabine to be in it. And
Or do they introduce him? Do they introduce him there, or do you think we get him in the Mandalorian?
no,
At least Sabine.
no,
No.
not at all. I think you save all of that because you have to have some surprises for that series. So you want the introduction of Sabine to be in Ahsoka. Like she served her purpose as the guide to say, no, you need to do this with Grogu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They also
do we get live action Space Wells? That's what I want to know.
did not confirm that, but
I want live action Space Wells in the Ahsoka series. That's all I want.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
If you don't know what the Space Wells are, watch Rebels, guys.
I don't.
Worth it.
I don't. I haven't watched Rebels.
So, there's been a lot of stuff that's been kind of rumored, and there's a few things that have actually came out with like Spider-Man 3 is going to have all the Spider-Man that have come before. So we've got Tobey Maguire, Garfield. We've got a lot of their MJs that were with them at that time are coming back. Dr. Octopus from the very first one is coming back.
And Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is going to be as Electro again. And he's not going to look so weird colored.
He's not going to be blue?
He's not going to be the blue guy. He's actually going to be what he was supposed to be. Like the pictures that I've seen, he actually looks like Electro from the comics.
That's cool.
Are we going to get any of the Green Goblins back? Do we know?
They haven't said anything about that. Would be Hayden Christensen, actually. So I mean, it's possible.
Wants the Green Goblin.
I mean, I'm not rooting for it. I'm just asking if we're going to get all the villains back.
I don't know, but I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna let Bonnie talk about it, but Kang.
No, go ahead.
You're gonna talk about this because this is your thing.
This is your domain.
But I know that they're bringing Kang the Conqueror back, or bringing him in for this stuff, which makes sense with why we would see all these other characters being brought in.
Well, yeah, and I think, honestly, I think WandaVision is what's going to kick a lot of this off with the alternate reality and kind of touching into that part of it, which, alternate realities, multidimensional, that kind of stuff. We're talking about multiverses. And so with that, as Kang the Conqueror, because he was a multidimensional time-traveling villain who... I can't remember all of his aliases that he had, but there were several different names that he came, He was like a pharaoh in one of them. He was actually on the Avengers at one point. Something, I can't remember. But he showed up in Fantastic Four. He showed up in the Avengers. There was different areas that he showed up in as a different person. And then there was even a whole thing where he brought the Avengers from other dimensions into the fight themselves to fight the Avengers. Right. And so I feel like with what they're setting up with WandaVision and then going into Doctor Strange and then now this stuff with because it's the Spider-Verse movie with the Spider-Man 3 and seeing that they're going to bring back all these different Spider-Mans. I mean, it just makes sense, especially because that was always my question. How are you going to build just like you did with Thanos, right? Because we would see bits and pieces, right? Of here's a little bit of him, here's a little bit of him here. And especially in the cutscenes and stuff like that. But how are you going to do that kind of build for this next phase and have that big of a baddie?
Right.
It'd be cool too if you see his alternate personalities in different movies and stuff like that. I mean, it's a cool concept. Obviously, they did so well with the villain of the first few phases. I think it's a really neat idea, and the multiverse, it's going to be cool. I'm excited for it. I like the idea of Spider-Man. Obviously, I'm curious how it works out. But I think it's a good, like you said, WandaVision's going to be a good, dipping your toe in the water to see how it goes. And it'll give everybody a good introduction to the the multiverses if people aren't as crazy in the comics and stuff like that. So it'd be a good introduction. That way you're not just going to see Spider-Man 3 and here's all these multiverses.
Right, so, and I feel like it makes for a long story arc, like we got with phase 1 and phase 2 into phase 3. And then I do know that it has been confirmed that we're going to see Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man 3. I'm assuming as Kang the Conqueror. So who knows if we might see him as a different person, not a different person, but a different name in Spider-Man 3. And especially in Fantastic Four too. Because I don't know. Do you guys ever have those conversations where you're trying to figure out who the big villain's going to be next?
Not really.
Yeah.
I thought Dr. Doom actually was going to be the one, but
with
Doom always comes with the Fantastic Four, though.
Exactly.
And Fantastic Four hasn't succeeded yet. Every Fantastic Four iteration has basically been a failure.
I agree with that. I'm not a fan at all of Fantastic Four. However, old Phil is. He's a big Fantastic Four fan. So what I know about Fantastic Four is only what because I've never even watched the movies. That's because I didn't.
Jessica Alba was good.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Captain America was good as the Flame.
Johnny Flame, or what's his name?
The guy from Nip Tuck was the villain. I remember that in the first one. Yeah. I remember that. I watched a lot of Nip Tuck, so
I watched a ton of Nip Tuck myself.
Did you really love that show, man? I love that show. It got a little weird in the end, but whatever.
But I agree though. Like we're talking Kevin Feige here though. I don't think he's going to mess up Fantastic Four. And that's another argument that I've had too is X-Men. We've never seen X-Men done right. Even the newer ones that they've had, they weren't done right. Yep, Apocalypse, that was a crock.
Apocalypse, you said they were never done right. That was your statement. First Class was great.
No, it was not.
Okay, all right.
No, it was at what point was Mystique ever a good guy?
And one character. She wasn't. You picking one character.
She's a huge character in my book because of the influence she has on Rogue.
She was.
I think
Rogue
Mystique
was never in any of them, except I guess she was
the old one.
Old one.
I think Mystique's character changed because of the success of Hunger Games and how famous and popular she got all of a sudden. So I think like they wanted her in the movies as much as they could. So I think that pushed her character personally.
That's a dumb excuse because they got my boy as Magneto, and he did a fantastic job as being.
I absolutely love him as Magneto. I absolutely love what's his face as Xavier. Love the chemistry they have together. Yeah. I would keep that.
Are we talking about the new ones? We're not talking about.
You ain't talking about Patrick Stewart now.
I think the old ones too. The old Magneto and Xavier.
I thought Patrick Stewart fit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect Professor X.
Version.
Yeah, perfect Professor X.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I have positives about them, but not enough for me to be like they finally did an X-Men movie right, to my standard, anyways.
Well, anyway, Jonathan Majors is Kang the Conqueror, and he was in Lovecraft Country as Atticus, and he was amazing in that series. So it's definitely has me excited if he's going to play the villain, because there were some times in Lovecraft Country where he was angry, and oh my gosh, he had some anger on him.
See, and that's one of the questions, which I need to watch that show. I haven't watched it yet because I do kind of want to get a feel of his acting, like how his acting is, because we're talking about a villain who it's almost like he infiltrates. I don't know what's his name, Baron. I can't remember his name from Civil War. The bad guy there, how you infiltrate from the inside and then tear it down type deal. It's almost like Kang the Conqueror kind of did that. And so
I can tell you, he can cry.
Baron von Zemo.
I can never remember his name. It's hilarious.
What are they going to do with Mysterio? Because I mean, we still have to address his whole thing too. So,
I have no. I mean, I don't really have any comment. I mean, I don't
didn't
know.
like Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio.
I did. I'm not a Superman novice, I guess. That's a Phil question. Because I do feel like they did it too soon. They did it way too soon to announce Peter Parker, as Spider-Man.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, and I get it. He's still in school. He's a child. But all the other Avengers, who they are. So that's why I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I guess.
Every other Avenger, everybody knows who they are. Every other Avenger.
I think it's a bigger deal for Spider-Man. Like
it is because he's in school. I get it.
Yeah, he's a kid.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's linked to it. I get it. That's why I said I understand that point. But I think, like I said, because they've taken such a different approach with Spider-Man, we didn't really get an origin story. Like we didn't get the whole Uncle Ben dying thing. We didn't see him get bit with a spider. Like none of that stuff. So the fact that they are kind of accelerating the story anyway, I still think I just believe in Kevin Feige that he knows what he's doing. Except for I do disagree wholeheartedly with the fact that they are not going to recast T'Challa. That's the only thing. That's the only complaint I have thus far. And
I'm curious to see where they go with that.
I mean, I agree with you, Feige. Like in Feige, we trust, right? He's been doing us good this whole time. There's only a few complaints that I have personally.
Wait till Thor: Love and Thunder comes out. She'll have another complaint.
Did you see that Christian Bale was cast as the?
We knew that 3 years ago.
The whatever.
I knew it 4 years ago, but I wasn't going to brag.
don't even. The only reason I'm going to see that movie.
I knew before they started.
You're going to see it for Natalie Portman. Don't lie. Don't lie. We know your love for Natalie Portman.
With my husband, and I like Taika Waititi's movies. That's it.
I'm there for Natalie Portman.
I won't have good things to say about it. Because are we going to see the Hulk in it? Because I feel like we need to have the Hulk in another movie like that.
They haven't said the
Hulk is going to be in the SheHulk series.
When do we get a new Hulk?
Can we talk about SheHulk real quick? Because I was reading up on SheHulk, right? Because I was like, who is this? Because I saw that that's one of the and this was like a couple of weeks ago before all this announcement stuff. I've been looking into She-Hulk. They're actually casting a younger Bruce Banner. So we're not going to see Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. I already read it.
Did you watch the Commander? Did you watch the call?
Did the call confirm?
Yes, it did. It most certainly did.
It's going to be the old, because they said it was going to be.
Bonnie, I watched the call. Kevin Feige said Mark Ruffalo will be appearing in the She-Hulk series.
Okay, appearing.
Right. It's gonna be.
He's in it.
He's in it. What I'm saying is he's showing how things interconnected. He said the reason because they announced Mrs. Marvel too, and they said she's also gonna appear in Captain Marvel too.
That's a whole nother argument I have. The Marvel thing.
Then they said the chick from WandaVision is the grown up version of the black chick's daughter in Captain Marvel, and she's gonna be in Captain Marvel too, and she's also in WandaVision. So all of that stuff is interweaving. That's why
She-Hulk isn't going to be, because the way they made it sound is She-Hulk was going to be like made in the past.
No, it's
continuation.
Because I know Mark Ruffalo is in it, and the thing is that they were talking about somebody being a lawyer or something, so they were hinting at the fact that because they was like, there's some lawyer stuff going on. And who else is a lawyer in the Marvel series? Daredevil.
But that I thought he was going to be in SpiderMan 3.
And the rights just came back to Disney, right?
Yeah, they did.
But what I'm saying is Charlie Cox is playing Daredevil in SpiderMan, but they haven't said, they not spoiling everything on what, but they did confirm Mark Ruffalo is what I'm saying.
I want a Mark Ruffalo movie.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say that what I read was sounded like it was
you can say what you read. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying is they were looking to cast a younger Bruce Banner is what I was reading because they're cousins.
Maybe it's a flashback scene.
Yeah, you're probably still going to get a backstory of how she.
Well, the article I was reading was like that's what we're starting with.
Oh, well, again, I mean,
I guess I need to go find the article.
It's not a movie though; it's a series.
No, it's a series.
It's a series. You can have like a bunch of flashback stuff, like you said, to get the origin stuff. Because Mark Ruffalo is appearing, doesn't mean he's going to be like
in every episode.
He's not going to be in every episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess too, like
Rosario Dawson.
Because my thought was, because me and Phil were talking about it, and I was like, I want to see Mark Ruffalo again, right, as the Hulk. And I was like, are we going to? And then that's where I got on the whole rabbit hole of trying to find the information on She-Hulk. And that's where they said that they were looking for a younger Bruce Banner, their cousins, because of it sounds like they're going to follow the story from the comics of how she becomes She-Hulk. So that's why.
Well, it's also the legal thing too, because they still don't necessarily own the rights to Hulk, and so in order to get him to be able to appear, he still has to kind of be a side character or whatever the case may be.
Is that why we haven't had a Hulk movie?
I didn't realize we didn't own Hulk. Who owns Hulk?
It's something weird. It's some weird rights thing, which is why we don't have, like, outside of that first Hulk movie that didn't even have Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Was that Edward Norton?
Eric Bana. Which one?
We had an Edward Norton and Eric. Yeah.
I like the Ed Norton one.
I did too.
I didn't like the other one.
But
I think the Edward Norton was the one with the guy we actually have in Avengers, the dad.
He torpedoed it. Edward Norton did with all the crap he pulled with what cut of the movie he liked, and then he wouldn't do any of the publicity stuff. So he blew the chance of ever getting another one of those.
I am though.
I didn't think he was a good one, anyways. So.
I am excited though to see the She-Hulk series because I feel like that's. I guess because of the legal stuff, I didn't understand. I didn't know that Hulk hasn't really gotten
any love
besides, back in 2007, his own.
One One thing I would talk about with all this is that Disney dropped a ton of Disney Plus, Hulu, Star, all these other platforms now. And what does that do with our whole, I mean, there was only a few movies that it came out of this. Everything else was a lot of just Disney Plus stuff. So now we have WB that's taken all their stuff and they're putting it on their streaming platform. You have Disney that just did all this stuff. And all of this is, I mean, WB is going to theaters, but you're going to be able to sit at home and watch it still. And so what do you think that's going to do to the theaters overall?
I'll jump first. I don't honestly think this for Disney. I think the push of this was the streaming platform because of the year we're in. Most of their big movies have been pushed. So they have the crop for next year basically set, being most of what came out for this year. I don't think this is really, we know where they're going with the Marvel movies. We know they're not ready for the Star Wars movies yet. And they talked a little bit about them. They did say 15 movies were coming to the Disney Plus platform between Disney and Pixar, I think, with just random. They obviously didn't give us titles and stuff. So I think the point of this one is this is a shot at HBO. Like, look, we know what HBO is doing next year with WB, but like, this is our plans for the future of our streaming platform. It's growing, exponentially, but I don't think this changes Disney's movie business. Like,
it doesn't, because of the fact that they are looking at, most of their movies are set for the summer anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're saying when the summer comes, they can reassess. They can always delay or decide to put it on the streaming service, but you don't have to jump the gun right now. They were like, no, listen, the whole point of Bob Iger stepping away as CEO was to go and to build up the division of the streaming platforms, because of the fact we want to have that. His big thing, he came and took a shot at Netflix as soon as he walked on the screen. He said, listen, we out here putting out quality, not quantity. So he was like, so we're working on making sure that everything we put on the streaming service would be just like if you were in the movie theater watching it. We don't want our quality to fall. So the fact that they're basically getting this library of stuff with FX and Hulu and all the stuff, they're building up. They're trying to build up the library of things that they have. And then as far as the new stuff, they're just going to wait until the time comes to make another decision about that. Because the biggest thing for them, even when it comes to the MCU, obviously, is the WandaVision thing, because that's setting up everything else. So from that standpoint, they weren't necessarily, talking about, like you said, which movies they're going to put out, but they are definitely have a plan.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the reaction of Hollywood, like the directors and the theaters, you look at their reaction to the WB move, it was negative, and it was strongly negative. And I think, like, from a movie making standpoint, yeah, clearly this has been the worst year ever. Going into next year, it's going to continue to be bad. But I mean, hopefully by mid to late next year, the movie industry as a whole will get back on its footing. And I mean, we haven't seen studios go under this year. Obviously, they're probably not doing well, but I think with the streaming platforms, like imagine Disney's revenue this year if they didn't have Disney Plus. Like, I think they can use this. They can use their streaming platforms to kind of offset some of the revenue loss. A lot of these movies are already made. All they've got to do is release them in theaters. So, this kind of opens you back up. Yeah, we lost a year of revenue, but we already have these films made. We're hoping that people are going to be eager to get back in theaters once the vaccine rolls out. So that's basically money in the bank. And then, we just push the rest of our projects back a year or so, or we're going to have a couple years where we cram a lot of movies in there. So I think in the long term, it's going to balance out. And you can kind of offset some of your revenue losses with the streaming platforms. They have 86 million subscribers at $6.99 a pop. I'm not good with math, but that's a crap ton of money a month. And that doesn't include the 36 million subscribers they have for Hulu and the 11 million subscribers they have for the terrible ESPN Plus. I'm taking a shot at ESPN Plus because it is garbage. But I mean, that's another 47 million people. So between the two, they're at 130 million subscribers. My math sucks, so don't call me on it.
Well, the other thing with the actual theaters, though, with them,
that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly, because you even look at like our Warren Theater shut down for only being open less than a year, or whatever the case may be, or maybe a year, whatever. So I think that's the other thing is like these chains can't sustain until the movies come back.
They gotta come back.
I think they're going to figure out something though, because there's absolutely zero way to put out the caliber of blockbuster movies that you do with just your streaming platforms, in my opinion. We're going to have to see a theater. I don't know how it's going to come back. I don't know if it's going to completely go under. Maybe, I don't know. But I just don't foresee you putting out the kind of movies that you put out or have put out in the past to compare, with the future if you don't have theaters.
The problem is that you look at Tenet, right? And again, I'm just, this is just the example.
You put it out during a pandemic. What do you expect?
I understand. That's part of my point, ladies and gentlemen. Like the point is they put out Tenet when the cases weren't as high as they are now. So the thing is that while people keep throwing out the thing about the vaccine, I'm here to tell you there's a lot of people that are not going to get the vaccine. When they release the vaccine, that doesn't mean that that people immediately are going to get it. For one, I'm not getting into politics, but there was a decision made not to get a certain amount of vaccines when they had the opportunity to do it. So that's pushing us back until June when those vaccines will be available, because there is a hierarchy of people that are going to get the vaccine first for those that choose to get it. But again, there's a large population of people, if the vaccine was available today, that would not be willing to get the vaccine. So we're still going to be, and the other thing is that.
But here's my thing though. At that point, if you're not choosing to get the vaccine, that's your choice. It's not. So I don't feel like this aspect.
You're playing right into my point. The point is that even if the theaters were to open up, that doesn't mean that people are going to be willing to go sit in the theater, because the theater was open when Tenet was available to be seen when the cases weren't as high, and they chose not to do it. So the thing is that when they do open, that doesn't guarantee that the money is just going to start flowing.
I'm not saying that they're going to put out movies next year. I'm saying it's probably going to be a couple of years before we actually do see movies in theaters.
I think we'll see them next year.
That's a long time in movies, though.
AMC is going to still be there. I'm not saying that Regal's still going to be there. I don't know, but I guarantee you they're going to figure out some way to figure out how to open theaters, regardless if it's all right. Disney's got their own theaters now, and that's where you have to actually go to watch their movies.
I mean, Amazon has enough money; they could buy every theater in this country. Like,
there you go.
It's not going to happen.
I mean,
will not happen. I guarantee you, Disney.
Okay, look,
Amazon, they are not going to buy the theaters out.
This is what I'm telling you. Someone will buy the theaters. I don't care if they all go bankrupt. Someone will come in, swoop them up for pennies on the dollar, and we will have movie theaters.
Well, it won't be Amazon or Disney, though.
Look, I threw out a name of someone that has trillions of dollars.
Yeah, I'm not
a name. We understand it. We're just, it's a part of the point of the whole point right now for Disney, which is something that they emphasized in this call, was they are more focused on their streaming service right now than anything. They're not going to spend additional money I know you just threw out a name, but I'm saying they weren't going to just spend the additional money to purchase facilities just when they're trying to build up their streaming.
I know.
Right.
Somebody will buy it.
And Disney didn't say that they're not going to stop making movies either, but did they announce one movie that's going to be dropped? Or Marvel? Like, is there an MCU movie that's dropping?
Spider-Man 3, Ant-Man the Wasp.
Yeah,
those are still movies.
And they announced the dates.
Those are going straight to Disney Plus.
No, they're not.
No, they're not doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They haven't said that yet.
That's what I'm saying. Here's my thoughts. I honestly think that they're trying to build up the streaming services because of what we just experienced in 2020. They didn't have the content. We need content. We were all sitting at home not doing anything. So now they're building up the content. Because I guarantee you, once everybody's vaccinated, or we're at that herd immunity level, I'm not going to be indoors. I'm going out.
But Bonnie, they announced streaming. Disney Plus was available in November of 2019. So the thing is that when that was available, they were trying to get as much content as possible because the only new content they had was what's my name? with the fly.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that's it. Jeff Goldblum and the Mandalorian. Those were the only two stuff that they had available. Other than that, they had nothing else. All they had was their back catalog. So the thing is that Bob has always said, like, nah, I need to get to the streaming service. That's been their thing because they are basically coming in behind. Like Netflix is doing its thing. Amazon was doing its thing. And so that now the new big players are HBO Max and Disney, because even Apple Plus is, as well as it's doing, it's still not making, it ain't doing what Disney and HBO are doing. And we see what happened to Quibi. So the thing is that
it's a terrible idea.
Part of the new push of the streaming service is because of the pandemic, but that's always been Disney's plan anyway, to go in that direction. They bought 3 new sound stages that they're using for the Mandalorian.
Yes, but back to the question was, do we think that theaters are going to go away? I'm saying no.
Here's what I'm saying is what I think will happen. Okay, Disney and them, obviously, they're not going to buy these places. That's not what they're going to do. Okay, so even if we have vaccine, we are looking 5 years down the road. I would say at least 5 years before we have a consistent movie basis coming out. So everybody is going to be going for their personal platforms. Disney is not hurting at this point. They're finally starting to get a good roll on stuff. And they know that they are, because we just saw a slew of Disney Plus series. They know where the format's going to go, and they're not going, man, I want to make sure our movies get out and we get movies done next year. That's not happening. They're gonna hold back, and they're gonna go, okay, we'll drop this one here. Okay, Black Widow, we pushed it out so far. We're gonna drop it on Disney Plus, but we're gonna keep pushing out. We're not gonna do the HBO thing. But we have all this huge amount of content of Disney Plus stuff we're going to do with the series that we're going to keep you engaged for 5 years. And we've shown this huge list that we can do that with. And so while all this is happening, theaters are going to slowly start dying out. I think so. And I think we're just going to have some investor that's going to come in, just like they're all, except for like the huge chains, they're all owned usually in those towns that they're in. Like Harkins obviously is different. That's like a major company. But like the one here in our town, it's all owned by one family. They're all these little places, they're owned by families. So the only ones that are going to be left are the ones that can handle with all this would be the huge chains like Regal, Cinemark, those places like that actually own those buildings. That's the only way that those are going to
you're going to lose the mom and pop theaters for the most part. But I mean, we're not going to lose theaters in general. They're just going to be owned by chains. Like chains are built to survive things like this. Walmart's built to survive.
They are not going to build another movie theater for at least 3 to 5 years.
It's not 5 years out. It's not 5 years out.
5 years out.
It's not. It's not.
We're marking it. I said it's going to be 5 years.
Not going to be 5 years. I say
it will be 5 years.
I say 2021 is a wash. You can write that off. I say 2022 we really start to see things back to normal.
People are freaked out.
I said 2022.
It takes twice as long for something to be unlearned as it does to be learned, and we took a whole year of being stuck inside, being scared to go out, be around people. It's going to take 5 years.
Well, I can guarantee now, when I get my vaccine, I'm not going to be in this house.
Me and Bonnie are going to watch Thor: Love and Thunder together. Me and Bonnie.
I'll be forced to have to get the vaccine, so I'm like, I'm going to be getting my vaccine, and I'm going to be outdoors. I'm going to be running. I'm going to be like bumping into people, going, oh, excuse me.
They can give it to me today. I mean, allergic reactions or not, bring it. Bring it. I'll take 2 doses at once.
Yeah, because I'm ready to get back. Like, and it's not even just the movies and stuff like that. I'm just ready to get outside of my house. I'm tired of being in here.
I'm ready. Give me the vaccine.
And I think that's what you're going to see.
I'll take it on national TV too.
To get out of their house. They want to get out of their house.
Yep.
Well, guys, great episode.
Great episode.
Definitely a ton of stuff. There's still stuff we could talk about, but
for days.
I think we need to cut it off here.
Cyberpunk came out today.
Save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod. I know.
Yeah, there was also the Game Awards that were happening right now. Actually,
I'm watching them as soon as we're done. So,
yeah, I'm gonna get back to those.
Finish this out. Love you guys.
That music.
Thank you for joining us.
Sorry for being late, boys and lady.
Yeah.
Be sure to like and share this.
I had a family tonight. It was
every
tough.
week, 7:30.
It was tough.
See ya.